Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And we are so excited to have our friend Lisa Bragaw joining us here today. She's from Connecticut. She's the owner of her own studio. It's the Zen and Now Wellness Studio. She's helping so many people virtually and also in person, with different varieties of yoga and so much more. Let me have you introduce yourself today, please. Good morning.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Jill. This is really exciting. Yeah, I own Zen and Now. It's a yoga and wellness center. It started out kind of as like a side hustle. I am a pharmacist and I was doing medication therapy management, which is kind of like wellness coaching, but from a pharmacist perspective, and doing yoga on the side because yoga has so many benefits for so many people. And I came to yoga because of illness and injuries as well. And so then it just kind of grew bigger and bigger. And so now we have this facility with 3 different studios within it. And we offer cycling and other kind of fitness courses and all kinds of different yoga and meditation, sound baths and Reiki and all kinds of other healing modalities. It's really become a really beautiful center.
Well, congratulations. Can I ask what the website
Thanks.
is and contact?
Yes, it's zenandnowct.com. ZENANDNOWCT.com.
Perfect. And I know you're a big proponent, and so am I, although my sister disagrees, about self-care being super important. Could you discuss that a little bit and
Oh
what
my
that
gosh.
even means? Because, my sister acts like it's being selfish. And I'm like, no, I have a 5 and 7-year-old. I
Oh
work hard, so she doesn't understand that. If
God.
I want to get my nails done every month or two, because I can't do it every 2 weeks, I feel like I should be able to. It makes me
I
happy.
think you should. I think you should. Yeah, self-care is so vital. I actually have written on the wall at the studio, self-care is not selfish. You cannot serve from an empty vessel, serve from your overflow. And I say it in class every single day. Self-care
Wow.
is so vital. And I learned it the hard way because I also had small children when I was working a lot, and I worked 12 to 15 hours a day in one spot on my feet. And I was a pharmacy manager, and I'm a little girl, like I'm small and I'm a woman. And so I really had to like prove myself. So I worked all these
Mm-hmm.
extra hours. I have the phone crooked in my ear and I'd be typing and labeling, and people are screaming at me over the vitamins. And I think I breathed to my collarbones for 20 years. And I finally learned to take a deep breath and everything finally melted. But I didn't take care of myself. I took care of everybody but me. I wouldn't even go to the bathroom when I was at the pharmacy. I'd wait 15 hours. And so it was really bad. And I found when I started taking care of myself, whether it was getting my nails done or getting your hair done, getting a massage, getting acupuncture, something that, or just taking 10 minutes to breathe and sit
Yeah.
by yourself. I became a better mother. I became a better friend. I became a better worker, and I was more focused at work. And instead of serving everybody else from this empty, deflated place, I was able to serve from this really robust, full place and do more. I was able to give more and do more and feel better.
Oh, that's amazing. And I
Yeah.
agree with that. And let me ask you this, though. What's very unique about you is that you did come from this background in medicine, right? With
Yeah.
pharmaceuticals. And now you're also holistic. So it's like the Eastern and Western medicine meeting up, which is kind of unique because you see the benefits of where medicine is good and can be helpful, right? But you
Yes,
also believe there's other ways. And I think that's so
absolutely.
important to stress to people because why not take the best of both worlds? And right, do
Absolutely.
people like working in your field like saying, what are you doing? Holistic wellness? What? Do they question you? Because some people in the, that background say, what?
It's very funny. So I actually went back to school to get my doctorate later because PharmDs became mandatory later after I graduated. And when I graduated from my doctorate was December of 2011, and I opened the studio February of 2012. And my mother would say to people, they would ask her what I was going to do with my doctorate, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, she's opening a yoga studio. I'm so glad I didn't pay for that degree." And I was like, "No, but it's doing so much." So I incorporated into the pharmacy setting. And I've actually done several continuing education programs for the Pharmacy Association and the New England Pharmacists Association, or the New England Pharmacists Convention. They've actually done my yoga classes for continuing education credit because I can pepper in the anatomy and the benefits of helping the brain calm down, helping us be more focused. And you can prevent prescription errors
Yeah.
and be more focused when you are more focused. And then I've done some mindfulness and stress resilience work for that. And I'm actually starting to tailor it, instead of being directed just for pharmacy in the pharmacy setting, to offer, I have a little mini course on stress resilience to the general public.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing that. And also, if you're just tuning in, I want to remind you of the website one more time.
Zenandnowct.com.
I love it. It reminds me of
Thank
that
you.
song, Don't Laugh. You might Here and Now, Zen and Now. I can't sing, but who was that? Not Lionel Richie. That's oh gosh. It was my sister's wedding song. It's not Lionel.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
I
I
don't know.
can't think of it right now either.
Neither can I. All right. So what's next on the agenda? What else did you want to focus on?
Oh, the Zen and Now name actually is kind of funny that you
Where did
brought
that
that up.
come from?
Because
Yeah.
Zen and Now, that came from an Eckhart Tolle book, and I think he said now and Zen, like every now and Zen.
Mm, got
And
it.
I had a business partner when we first opened, and she just thought I said it backwards, and she typed it out backwards. And I said, I actually like that better because the focus isn't on then, the play on Zen and then, but it's on now and being here in the moment.
And
And I
being
think that's so
present.
important, especially where we are coming out of this pandemic. People are still fearful, they're still afraid, they're
Let,
still anxious. And
let
so
alone
we
what's
can
happening
provide more
now
for
again. It may
mom.
be coming back. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And if we keep our immune system healthy and robust, if we keep our stress levels down, our cortisol stays lower, so there's just so much you can do by moving your body. It doesn't have to be anything formal. You don't have to do a full hour yoga practice. You might just sit and take a deep breath.
Yeah. A lot of
And
people say, I don't have time for that. I don't have time. But it's not,
absolutely.
it doesn't have to be that long.
No. And that's what I'm really trying to teach people with my wellness coaching is creating tiny little habits that you're already stacking on top of something else you do. Like I have this beautiful view from my home and I never look out the window. And people say all the time, I can't believe you don't look out the window. Well, I didn't. I do now. And I make myself, when I brush my teeth, look out the window. So at least 4 minutes a day, I'm looking out the window, brushing my teeth and, enjoying my view and being present in the moment. I had a kickboxing instructor years ago tell me that he brushed his teeth while he was doing the airplane pose, the yoga pose airplane, to work
Okay.
on his balance every day. So you can pepper these things in. I think the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning, the last thing you do before you go to bed at night are really, really vital. And if you're giving everybody else your attention at those times, you're going to deplete yourself. So if we wake up first thing in the morning and first thing you do is get on your phone, it's like letting all of those people, thousands of people maybe, in your bed with you. That was eye opening when someone said that
Yeah.
to me. And so giving yourself these sacred few moments at the beginning and end of your day, and it could be 30 seconds before you get out of bed, wiggle your fingers, rotate your wrists, move your feet around before you get around and get up and pound around on your body all day long.
Wow. And you talk a little bit about sometimes it's simple steps, you say, right? Simple habits that you could start doing to kind of make your daily life better. Could you give us some examples of that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Simple, simple things that you can stack. One of my favorite books is Atomic Habits by James Clear. And it's wonderful because he talks, when I first saw the title, I was thinking atomic, like atomic bomb, but it's really atomic at the atomic level, like baby steps, starting with little tiny shifts. Another great book is called The 1 Degree Shift. So if you were to set course and just take a 1 degree shift in another direction, you can end up in a totally different place. So you don't have to change everything about your life right now, but a little thing like taking care of yourself, something that makes you feel good, getting your nails done once a month, that is amazing. If that makes you feel good, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
want, and then every time you look at it, you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so good. Getting your hair done, getting a massage, body work is so precious. Body work, whether it's massage or acupuncture or moving your body with dance or yoga or fitness, it does keep our immune systems robust and it keeps us, our vibe up and raised up. And that's contagious. When we're around people who are negative, the whole world kind of spirals down. But we can be that light that shines up and makes someone else's day a little bit brighter too.
Beautiful. And let me ask you, you did bring up before the pandemic and all, and what have you seen with people with all the stress and added anxiety? How are you helping people get through that? How can we relieve the stress? Yes, the yoga, yes, the meditation, yes. But is there
Yeah.
any other certain techniques that you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, I think it's really important. Community is really important. And we did find that when, with the pandemic, when the pandemic first hit, we had to completely close the studio down and I didn't know what to do. So it took me a week and I got classes up online on Zoom and I made some Facebook videos, which was really out of my wheelhouse and very uncomfortable. But I had a yoga coach say to me, it's not about you. It's about people needing yoga now
Mm-hmm.
more than ever. So I got over myself and I did that. And And people have thanked me. I have some guided meditations I put out on YouTube way back in the beginning of the COVID pandemic and some yoga practices. And people tell me that they would listen to it all over the country. People would message me and say, I listen to that meditation every night before bed. And I didn't even know that it was touching that many people. But anything you can do to make yourself feel a little more calm, more grounded, more connected. We all want to feel like we belong. We all want to feel connected. And I think we've lost some of that during this time because we're separated so much. So anything you can do to make yourself just feel a little more connected to your community, to your family, to your and you can create your community. You can go to a yoga practice. You could go to a walking group. But I do think being connected is so important and building each other up and supporting each other.
Right.
We
And
need
can I
that.
ask a little bit about yourself? Let's get to know you on a personal level. Yes, we knew,
Okay.
you're a pharmacist, you have your doctor, but tell me where you grew up, what brought you into this field in particular to want to help people?
Sure. So I was born and grew up in southeastern Connecticut. My husband and I both grew up in the same town, which is funny. And we raised our children here. So it's been a really interesting, beautiful, blessed uh, time because our kids are growing up with our friends' children.
Can I ask how old
And
they are?
they're old. I have 25, almost 24, and 22.
God bless.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, they're
Amazing.
very close and they're sweet boys. They're men now, I guess. I have to change that.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, they're wonderful. Yeah, and I think because of them and wanting to have a good family life, I did work really hard. I really prided myself on being a pharmacist, and that was my identity. And when I ended up with those injuries and just incredible stress, and my doctor said, you really need to stop working. And
Wow.
it devastated me because that was my identity. And we do
Yeah.
that, right? Like we label
Ah.
ourselves as I'm a mother, I'm a doctor, I'm a pharmacist, and I really felt
And then
like
after you get out of it, you realize, what was I thinking? There's so much more to me than my career. Like,
for
I
real.
love life, but I used to identify myself the same way. I'm a television reporter. I work in the city. And then I stopped. My mom got sick with cancer and it was
Oh,
hard at first. And then now I love it. I look back and I watch the news and I'm like, I'm so glad I'm not up at 1:30 in the morning. There's so
I
many more
know.
benefits to what I really want to do. That's not really who I wanted to be. It's what I did.
No.
Sorry to
And you're
interrupt, but I
touching
can
more
empathize with you.
people.
Yes,
You're
yes.
totally touching more people. And so sometimes, Matthew McConaughey has that book, Green Lights. I don't know if you've
Yes, I
read that
haven't
yet.
read it, but I
Oh,
heard of it. Yes, yes,
oh,
yes,
good.
yes.
And it's so right. Like sometimes you get a yellow light or a red light and it makes you detour to a different direction. And I say that in yoga all the time. I'll be teaching a class and I'll say, be thankful for even your
Wow.
lessons, your life lessons, the things that have made you shift or pivot. Because I said we wouldn't know each other now if that
Yeah,
hadn't happened to me. If I hadn't been injured and
yeah.
found yoga and massage
Hmm.
therapy and acupuncture and a more holistic approach, like I wouldn't be able to help as many people as I do, and I wouldn't feel
Hmm.
as good as. So you just never know. So take those life lessons and flow with them, and of course get help where you can, but it's not always a negative. It's sometimes it feels like it at the time, and then it
Of
ends up
course.
being like the biggest green light you've ever had.
Ah, amazing. Well, congrats. I'm glad you're here. So again, it's zenandnowct.com is the website. We're talking about all the ways that Lisa can help us. And also I read that, you always just loved helping people. So that was something that was kind of innate to you. You kind of grew up that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
And was that something from your mom or dad? Where did you get that from?
Yeah, well, my grandmother's a doctor, my uncle's a doctor, my mother worked hard raising us, and she always would have us get involved with different charities and things like that. So I've always been involved with giving back, and I do feel like we have a lot, and it's important to give back. So I've just kind of always had that mentality of you know of if you have some, you can share it with you, and especially now I'm learning. When you give back, it doesn't mean that you're depleting yourself. Like a candle lighting another candle sometimes shines brighter,
Yep.
right? So you
Hmm.
can take care of yourself and take care of others. And that's something that it's taken me a long time to learn and not burn myself out doing that.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a veterinarian back in the day, like since I was a little kid. And I started animal science school to go to veterinary school. And I decided I did not want to do that. I wanted to have pets
Yes.
and rescue pets.
Okay.
And then I switched to pharmacy school really just as a stepping stone because then I could put myself through graduate school if I wanted to be a vet or if I wanted to be a dentist or a doctor.
Hmm.
And I just fell in love with it. And that personal contact. You really get to know the patients and you get to be part of the community. And I really fell in love with that. And I still do love that aspect of it. I am now pivoting out of that more commercial world into helping people at a broader scale. And I do still help people with their medications. I can still review the medications and make sure we call it a medication checkup, like sure you're
Hmm.
taking the right medications for you and are they the right doses. Do you even need to be on some of these anymore? But I would never stop person's medicines. We work in tandem with the doctors and the other healthcare providers. But now I've been able to expand it even more because I can help people with sleep by offering meditations or breathing exercises or movement, and get people off sleeping pills, for example, or stress. Diabetes and hypertension are really, really responsive to moving your body and even slight changes in body weight and stress. Reducing your stress does so much
Got
for
it.
so many things. Yeah. So it's just been this journey. It's been this path and it seems to be going in the direction it's meant to be in. So
All
I'm kind
right.
of flowing with it now.
Now, also, I want to discuss, I mean, there's a lot more. You offer different types of group classes. You also Reiki energy healing sessions as
Yeah.
well. Uh,
Yeah.
Go ahead, talk about whatever one you want. That's awesome. That's
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. So the group fitness classes, it's kind of funny. The classes that we offer, people say, I this variety of classes you offer. And I crack up because I go, well, they're all my favorite classes and they're all my favorite instructors. I just share them with all of you. So
mm-hmm.
so we do offer classes by Zoom. That's been another blessing coming out of COVID. People still want to take their classes on Zoom, whether they've moved away or they're traveling. So you can still take our classes even if you don't live in Connecticut. Um, and we are working on a more like recorded library and on-demand library. That again, I'm trying to get over myself with this being on video stuff. So I'm growing and
Got
getting the instructors on board with that. The Reiki, you can do Reiki remotely, which is interesting. People, are kind of skeptical about that, but energy is everything and we can transform ourselves and our own energy. Reiki is a healing modality that you cannot send bad energy. So you can only send good energy and people can choose to receive it or not to receive
mm-hmm.
it. But it does really help with pain. It helps with anxiety. It helps with stress. My sister passed from cancer last year and I would do Reiki treatments on her. And she said it was really helpful and really helped her calm down and help with pain.
That's how I
Um,
actually first discovered it when my mom was sick with lung cancer 5 years ago.
mm,
We're from Long Island, and I took her to Sloan Kettering in the city, and talking. She had lung cancer, so it was 6 months to 2 years she would live.
um,
And we chose the chemo route. We didn't really know about immunotherapy, but that's just a deadly disease, and you got to face it.
right,
Unfortunately, as hard as it was.
right.
But then I went on their website and I was reading about energy Reiki healing modality. I'm like, what's this? I got goosebumps, and she never got to take advantage of it. But now
Oh,
knowing what I know, and I talk to so many people who offer that, and the fact that like Sloan Kettering, like the Columbia Presbyterian, all these big hospitals are believing in healing energy and modalities. I love it because it's like finally it's like they're waking up to let
yes.
other outlets in and it could be so helpful. So are you actually a Reiki practitioner or a
I'm a
master or
Reiki
do you have
master. Yeah, I've gone
oh
through the
wow.
master level training. I
Wow,
love
wow,
it.
wow.
I do love it. And it's funny because when I started my Reiki training, I didn't realize I'd been doing Reiki for years and not even knowing it.
See?
Like at the end, everybody can do it. It's sharing energy. And you're, again, not depleting yourself. So that's what's kind of interesting. Because I used to be afraid of it that, oh, if I'm going to share all my energy, I'm going to be depleted and exhausted.
Yeah.
You protect yourself. And afterwards, you wash your hands, you shake off the energy, you dust it off. Um, but at the end of every Reiki, I mean, at the end of every yoga class before the pandemic, I would give people a little shoulder press, a head rub, a little neck traction, and just kind of pray over them in a non-denominational way and just send good vibes. And then when I did my first Reiki training, they said, "This is what you do." And I said, "Oh, I've been doing that for years."
Yeah.
So everybody
Aw.
can do it. Yeah, it's really a lovely practice. You can do it for yourself, and you don't have to be formally trained to say, "I'm just going to call in good energy," or "I'm just going to send good vibes out." Right?
Oh, that's wonderful. And do you want to talk more about the other services that you offer? So there's coaching,
Sure.
there's the classes, there's a lot to get
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, we're really so that's why I'm calling myself retired from pharmacy. I do work for hospice and I will never give that job up. I love it. And I do volunteer for our local hospice as a Reiki practitioner as well. But I'm the pharmacy the pharmacist on our team for our multidisciplinary team. So I do that once a week. But everything else I offer, I'm really trying to get back into just making the studio more robust in person, as well as offering more things online. So I'm working on some online courses. Some will be live and in person. Some will be recorded. Some will be, a library that you could purchase or whatever. So anybody who's listening to this, if you email me at lisa@zenandnowct.com, I can email you the mini course on stress resilience, or give you access to maybe a guided meditation or one of the yoga classes if you prefer. Or we could do like a free half-hour discovery session if you're interested in wellness coaching or life coaching. And again, it's a holistic approach. So there's a little bit in every piece. So if medication is something that's a concern, or you're looking for more movement or meditation or breath work, I'm also certified as a breath coach. So there's a lot that we can offer. And I do think that everybody needs to be treated as an individual, because there's no cookie cutter. There's no cookie
Yeah.
cutter in healthcare.
Oh, that's wonderful, though.
Yeah.
There's so much that you have to offer, and now virtually the classes and the coaching as well, right? Because
Yeah.
as far as coaching, is it mindset coaching, life coaching? Could you describe some of the people that you work with, and what are some things you work on?
Sure. Yeah. Honestly, any kind of coaching you do, it's always been, for me, it's been wellness coaching because it was medication management for years. Um, but really, all of it comes down to mindset and creating daily habits that work for you, that you can incorporate. Again, simple stacking simple things, and finding an accountability partner where you're not being judged, and empowerment. I think that's really one of the keys, that I empower people to want to help themselves and give them some sustainable tools that they can take on and run with them. And so I do one-on-one coaching, we do small group coaching, and I'm working on expanding that to, be able to help even more people.
Great. And also, I know you mentioned in your notes, excuse me, if I look down to read it, it was something you were talking about. Oh, okay. About, you say everything you do is centered around wellness, right? And empowering others with the tools they need to be happy, healthy, and well. What do you do for yourself to keep you happy and keep you going? Do you have a coach? Do you have
I
meditational
do.
rituals? How does it work?
Yeah, I do. I have a coach, and I actually have a mastermind group we're meeting this afternoon, and I'm so excited about that. I have been working on just self-improvement for years. First, my body. I came into yoga from a physical perspective to fix physical ailments, and then
Hmm.
I've just grown into all the rest of it, and I've loved it so much. But I do a lot of coaching. I receive a lot of coaching. I do a lot of reading. I think it's really important to nourish your brain as much as you nourish your body. So if you're eating healthy and drinking and hydrating healthily, but also thinking about what you're putting into your eyes and your ears, especially at the beginning and the end of your day. I mean, you can watch trashy things on TV. You can read trashy novels if you choose to. There's no judgment with that, but also making some time to read some stuff that's a little like watching podcasts or listening to podcasts, good
Hmm.
content, and nourishing your brain and what you hear and what you listen to, and your self-talk. So self-talk is a big thing. Mindset training, mindset makeover kind of work is so good. So I do have a daily routine, and I light candles, and I do a smudge stick, and I do Reiki for myself. I read something, inspirational every morning, usually two or three different, inspirational books that are like a daily meditation. And it's funny because my daily routine has gotten longer and longer and longer. So I get up earlier and earlier and earlier. But it started with getting up 2 minutes earlier. It didn't start with, this whole big thing. Moving my body every day is like, that's I have to do that every single day. I have to move my body. I have a little mini trampoline that if I can't get to the studio, if I'm going to
Oh,
work
my
that
kids
day,
have that.
I jump up and down on that trampoline. I skip. Like skipping is one of the best things. Skipping through your house and just raising your vibe. It helps to just crisscross the energy in your body, the left and right hemispheres of your brain, get to connect a little better. So I do have a whole big daily routine, and I share it in class. It gets to be kind of funny because I have people move their bodies funny ways to do that.
And what about getting better sleep? Isn't that part of it too?
Oh, for real. Yes. Yes. The nightly routine, as I said, is so huge. There's a lot with sleep hygiene. There's a lot of data out there. And of course, nobody wants to hear it because it means like turning off your screens for 2 hours
Yeah.
before bed and, limiting caffeine. But there's a lot of things you can do. Having that positive mindset before you go to bed, practicing gratitude is probably one of the best things you can do before you go to bed. Focus on what went well that day. Just name two or three things that went well, even if it was something you thought was a challenge, but you overcame it. you overcame it, you got through it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a blessing. So counting your blessings and keeping a gratitude journal can be really, really helpful. I have one next to my bed that
Do
I
you
write in
write in
before
like
I go
every
to.
night or every morning? Is there like a certain time?
Yeah, I try to write in it every single night. And I have an accountability partner, a friend of mine, my mastermind group, and she and I are both like, okay, I'm gonna text you, remind you to write in your journal.
Mm-hmm.
So, and no judgment if you forget that night or you're just tired or whatever. But I don't always write in it, but I always do say something in my head that I'm grateful for, or think about it as I'm going to bed.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Mm.
All right, we still have oh gosh, only 2 minutes left.
Oh
What else did
my.
you want to share before we go? Happens quick.
Yeah, so I just am really excited for being on this podcast, and I'm, curious if people are interested in different topics. For next week, I was thinking about talking about stress resilience and mindset and see if that was something people would be interested in, creating those small habits to, again, make those little shifts that are huge in the long run, little baby shifts.
Great. And if someone wants to reach out to you, tell us the best forms of contact, please.
Sure. So my email is lisa@zenandnowct.com. Our website is zenandnowct.com. And there's a link on there to put your email stuff in there. So if you want to contact me through the website, that's fine too. I will get that. Our studio phone number is 860-739-2625. And we're on social media too. So you can follow us
Yes.
on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. So yeah,
Under what?
reach out to us. We're under Zen and
Then
Now.
perfect.
Yeah,
Good.
Zen and Now. Try to keep that simple. So Zen and Now, and yeah, reach out to us, DM me if you are interested in a free discovery session for coaching, life coaching,
Ah,
wellness
that's
coaching,
awesome.
mindset
We offer that.
coaching.
Hmm.
Absolutely, reach out to me if you are interested in a copy of that or a link to that free mini course on stress resilience. Email me, and I'd be happy to send that out too.
Great. Thank you so much for your time today. We
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Jill.
Looking forward to the
Thank
next
you.
time we speak. You have a great day.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
too. Thanks so
Thank
much. Have
you.
a good
And
day.
all of our listeners, stay tuned or the show is on the way.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcasts on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.